What up everyone, Vic here. It's been a while since I last put out a YouTube video, but I've been pretty busy with some maintenance projects. One of the big ones that I recently did was to replace the rear subframe bushings, and this was not a fun one. As you can see, I had to burn, drill, tap, do whatever I could to remove the old bushings that were really worn out. In the end, I'm glad I finally completed this project because it was a really necessary upgrade to replace with poly bushings because the factory rubber was so worn out. In this video, I'll show you what it took to replace my factory sports seats with some OMP racing bucket seats. So my original sports seats had ripped leather, the seat rails did not slide back and forth anymore, and the recline functions were also broken. Instead of reupholstering and fixing all of the movements of the seat, I decided to just sell them and get some OMP fixed bucket racing seats. These seats are surprisingly comfortable and were not that hard to install. I've already test fitted the driver's seat, and now I'll show you guys how to install the passenger side. The first step is to install the side mount brackets onto the seat. I used some M8 1.25 pitch hardware because there was no screws provided with the side mount brackets. The exact part number is OMP HC733E, which they market as their low bracket. Even in the lowest setting, when you add in the seat sliding rails, the height is a little bit higher than the factory sports seats, but overall it's not too bad. If I wasn't using the sliders, then of course I would probably be at factory height. For seat sliders, make sure you install them in the correct orientation and pay particular attention for which is the left and the right side. I used the middle holes on the seat bracket to mount the sliders, as that provided the best distance between the rails in order to install the sliding bar between them. You'll have to extend the seat slider out in order to expose the holes that allow you to mount it to the side mount bracket. It's a little hard to do without the center grab bar attached, but it is possible. The slider rails did come with some M8 cap screws, but they did not provide enough, so I bought an extra set of 4 plus some washers and extra nuts for the installation. If you're having trouble adjusting the sliding rail, you can always use a screwdriver to lever the rail up and down. I found this a much easier approach in order to expose the holes. The next step is to install the center grab adjustment bar. You'll see a couple notches on the adjustment bar along with some exposed pegs on each rail. So just line up the holes with the pegs, and then that's how you can just simply click it into place. It required a little bit of maneuvering, but eventually you'll get it to slide into place. Once installed, you can do a quick test just to verify the engagement, and you can see how the rails lock and unlock in order to slide the rails up and down. The next step is to attach the planted seat mount to the seat sliders. I opted to use these middle holes as I found that was the best attachment point between the sliders and the bracket, where the holes lined up perfectly. It's up to you if you want to install the planted mount into the car first and then attach a seat after. Either method works, but I found it easier to attach the planted seat mount to the seat first and then install everything into the car at the end. Once everything is bolted together, just drop it into the passenger compartment. You want to line up the planted seat mounts with the studs. The front uses nuts to attach the mount to the car body. These are M10 nuts, and then the back uses bolts. These are M10 with the 1.5 pitch thread. It is a tight fit to get the bolt installed in the back, but if you have a ratcheting wrench, it makes the job way easier. Alright, we are finally done, and I'm gonna say this looks amazing. I think the seats complement the interior pretty well. They're very sporty looking, and they are surprisingly comfortable. The lack of adjustment is a bit of a nuisance, but you do get used to it as long as you don't try to go for too long of a drive. Here you can see the sliding function in action. Just a simple quick tug of the lever and you can move the seat back and forth pretty easily. The car is finally coming along pretty well. I've addressed most of the mechanical aspects and I'm focusing on the cosmetics now. The next thing I will replace is the leather on the back seat. The bench was really worn out and it did not look good, so that is the final step in completing the interior. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Vic's Vehicles, and check out my channel where you can see more E30 content.